Hi, my name is Anthony Douglas Dillon, and this is my theatre performance and production presentation. Theatre is so important to me. Not only has it boosted my confidence, I've also adopted a sense of craziness. I love how theatre allows me to become someone else and to physically observe and emotionally feel situations from other points of view. Theatre allows the impossible to happen. Without theatre, my creativity would not have enhanced. Adrenaline rushes through my body when I am sitting impatiently preparing to face an audience, both entertaining them and entertaining myself. Theatre, in my perspective, is something bigger than you and I, something bigger than anyone. I believe theatre to be something that you can never fully comprehend, but need in our lives. From the beginning of my higher level theatre arts experience, I have learned an immense amount of information through classwork and research, which I must say have been of great contribution to the developmental process of my work in theatre during the first quarter of my Year 12 Diploma Theatre Arts course. To begin with, I was quite enthusiastic in the anticipation of learning about the different theatre practitioners and styles, as they are the ones whom contributed immensely and fundamentally gave rise out of the vast world of theatre. Our course allowed us to briefly saw through many of those practitioners and styles. This enthusiasm towards the roots of world theatre led me to attempt in researching about the vast characteristics of different styles of theatre, in particular, the theatrical techniques, conventions, and dramatic elements of each theatre style truly captivated me. All I needed was a chance to explore these elements in application. Therefore, I was intrigued when my theatre class was given the opportunity of completely and entirely taking on the role of a playwright, director, and actor in the process of producing a performance and production. I felt as if my chance to explore and utilize the application of my theatrical knowledge had come. Theatre in the world, theatre in the making, and theatre in performance, all in one task. Two major productions in which I was involved in such a role was the 24-hour theatre and our interpretation of Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House. Along with the roles previously stated, I also took on the technical aspects as well. Firstly, I will discuss my 24-hour theatre productions process. Although it was a group production, I found a specific theatre style to be quite interesting, and I desired to apply these techniques into our production. The style of Bertolt Brecht's epic theatre and the fact that he tried to persuade his audiences to see the stage as a stage, actors as actors, and not the traditional make-believe of the theatre, requiring detachment, not passion, from the observing audience. Since it was a fully devised piece, we weren't given a script to follow, so we went through the basic steps of constructing the play. So I researched further on Brecht's style. The Brechtian style was well known for its didactic achievements, the intentional and ambitious revelational nature of this practice portraying social, historical, political, or psychological issues we humans possess. Whether in the mid 20th century or nowadays in a contemporary environment, an inspiration was addiction, arousing in me the idea of complete loss of humanity and control, self-oppression and deprecation, and the humanly primitive reality that we all choose to rely on something in order to escape, a life of euphemism, escapism into dreams for the sake of relaxation and releasing of stress. The idea planned was change brought upon society, the false hope that affects and which results to a dark consequence of dreadful sadness and vile despair. Once exposed of the truth, alters the entire perspective of an individual. Therefore, we were enlightened to one of the main themes that we could manipulate as a basis on which to brainstorm upon, the idea of escapism of reality into various objects or beliefs such as religion, plastic surgeries, and attempts to escape the society's judgment of youth and beauty. We explored and created the plot of the play and our final theme, in which worked was disillusionment from fairy tales. This theme was realized during our exploration. In our blocking process, we explored the Brechtian technique of breaking of the fourth wall, the means to directly communicating, questioning, and speaking to the audiences, awakening their minds for our didactic approach. This proved influential in the directorial process of Aloysius. She decided that we should move in unpleasant and unnatural movements, bringing upon an effect of shock and invoking in them the feeling of discomfort, the elements of her research, her work in studying the theatre of cruelty, sadism. Create pain in a violent and physical way to the audiences to shatter their false reality. As an actor, it was truly entertaining as it not only broke the fourth wall suggested by epic theatre, but also bring it to a whole new level. I think this connection really worked between Brecht's epic theatre and Artaud's theatre of cruelty. In addition, after the unpleasant impact, we also decided upon making the audiences take up an active part in our production. We were to crawl through the audiences, leaving our thrust stage, engaging them in physical involvement. This is a method derived from Augusto Ball's theatre of the oppressed, allowing the audiences to explore, show, analyze, and transform their reality into ours. forcing them to connect the two reality, aiming to provoke change, the change suggested in the previously stated didacticism element of epic theatre. These connections between practitioners' styles serve to enhance the audiences on my research. Epic theatre's basis to make the audiences aware that they are watching a show. Secondly, it was our Doll's House production. I will talk about the process in which I experienced in devising the performance by including attributes such as rehearsal techniques and technical elements of the production. Our theatre group was given the full prose text as the basis of our performance and production. This was our script, and therefore we knew what character setting and plot were involved. We knew through our script the main character traits, personality, their journey, and their objectives. In general, we knew the given circumstances. For example, Nora Helmer's character begins not only hyperactive but also very family oriented, and as the story progresses, she supposedly matures and realizes the conditions of dehumanization and discrimination that she has been inferior against for a long time. My character, Nils Krogstad, is also a family-oriented individual. However, his motivation leads him to blackmail Nora for the sake of his job, his children. As an antagonist, he provokes the change, the climax of the play. During the configuration of our performance of A Doll's House, we used construction techniques in order to develop an understanding of what was needed to create our rendition of Doll's House. This included scripting, blocking, and rehearsing. The base of our play was Konstantin Stanislavski's realism, that the means of an actor to show real believable emotions through facial and body expression, so it was necessary to use Stanislavski's technique, memory of emotion, or otherwise known as emotional memory, to do so. During our blocking, my understood objective of Krogstad was to sway Nora to use her influence in my behalf. However, as she refuses, the objective became to dominate through superiority of threats and blackmails. These objectives led me to think of moments in past experiences I've had when I tried to sway someone, when I tried to dominate a situation. The memories I explored during our rehearsal was the moment when I attempted to sway my dad to buy me a game. When placing myself in the same emotional state, I exposed a tender side of me, a side of respect and inferiority to the other. However, by contrast, when the memory of not getting it came, I remembered threatening to ask Mum for it instead, an event that my dad probably did not desire, and at that stage I was superior. No longer respectful in the tone and gesture I showed. Instead, my posture became straight and tall, and my tone became strong, powerful, and loud, a sign of determination. In my perspective, this was a memory that provoked the exact emotions that I would desire to show on performance night. On the night of performance, waiting backstage reminding myself of the memory allowed me to fall back into the same emotional state. However, by the time of the climax of change, the memory of used was different. From inferiority, I evolved into a state of strong will, but also a state of anger. In anger I did not plan, but I believed it worked because it exposed to the audiences a sense of reality. I believe I portrayed a believable performance to the audiences, as if they are watching a real-life experience, no form of awareness of the actor's existence, the essence of realism. Stanislavski's theory of real emotions evoked from memories, unlike acting in the sense of melodrama. In our blocking and rehearsing stage, we were also inspired by the other group to use symbolism of my character, Krogstad eating a cookie from Nora's house without asking, as a means of showing my character's confidence in the issue, that I will get what I want. I believe this was a brilliant idea, and it was chosen as an improvement. However, I must say that it was not a strictly realism act that Stanislavski would agree upon. In the production and technical aspects of the Doll's House performance, we didn't stay loyal to realism, as we also fused performance production with elements of other theatrical styles. Beforehand, we attended a production, Waiting for Godot, at Hong Kong's Performing Arts Center. This trip was very beneficial, as inspired my suggestion of the utilization of a Christmas tree, a doll house, a doll and suitcases, in which are all justified by symbolism towards the play. Symbolism is a technique supported by Jerzy Skrutowski's Poor Theatre, aiming to use language, body, and fundamentally the use of objects to change perception between the actors and the audiences, bringing meaning to their usage. In Waiting for Godot, existentialism play, I noticed the staging, the set design was quite simply but very effective. A tree in the foreground, a symbol of their journey's fate, unchanged and predetermined to find that there is no meaning to life, an element of theatre of the absurd. However, in our production, I use this only as a stimulus because theatre of the absurd is the means to show that there is no meaning in life, through repetition and to some extent boring the audiences, which will not work due to our play's obvious moral of change, revolution, and feminism. For example, the decorated Christmas tree represents Nora's regards for her family, in which, as the story progresses, is gradually stripped from its ornaments and left with nothing. Each time the is stripped, it foreshadows the moment that once the tree is empty, and she will leave her family. This idea was explored and used in the performance, however, it caused slight difficulty in the removing process of decorations, as the decorations ended up tangled with each other, leaving the actors on stage with a hard time. On our performance, we simply used a pool of light instead of spotlights and changes of colors, tints, and washes. This technical element allows audiences to focus more upon the actors' behaviors and emotions further. This was a contribution to the realism element of acting, emotions, and actors. Thank you for listening.